With the coming of the internet, a new wave of consciousness was beginning worldwide. I travelled to the Yucatan, Mexico in 1991 to observe the longest total eclipse, which was over 7 minutes. That was July the 11th, 1991. If we subtract 234 days, we have October the 28th, 1990, the same date in 2011. The end of time as we know it, when 7 billion people will be born onto the earth. In the next diagram, I'll show you how the Mayans built the dates into their pyramids. Of course, the mistake that scholars make is that they think that the Mayans, while easing off for a few hours, butchering each other and cutting each other's hearts out, decided to work out the accuracy of the moon within 33 seconds in 500 million years. These were all built by angels. It's part of creation. So we have the 9 levels. We start at 16.4 billion years, and this, of course, is not correct, but it is a stab in the dark for the people who are trying to work out the Mayan calendar. So we have October the 28th, 2011 is the date that this is predicting. The Mayan calendar, therefore, predicts October 28th, 2011, which is 21 years later, when I was there, which is 7414 days after the solar eclipse of July the 11th, 1991. Now, the Great Pyramid in Egypt is 25 years wide. I say that by referring to it as 9131.06 pyramid inches wide in its fullness, and 1 day equals an inch. The solar eclipse occurred on July the 11th, 1991, and we calculate distance from the 25-degree north latitude. This is identified by the Great Pyramid itself. I've gone through that in several other videos. By 11626 west, this is the width of the antechamber. There it is there. And I married when I was 1162.6 weeks old, and my daughter Tracy Lee is 11.626 years older than my stepdaughter Rhiannon. The two dates are May the 4th, 1968 and December the 20th, 1979. I am 1162.6 days older than her mother. This is Mary Magdalene, who today is Michelle, and I lived with her for 13.13 years. And I could not make any headway whatsoever with her. And sad as it was, it only was a stepping stone to meet up with Ashura, who is actual fact her sister Martha reincarnate. Michelle's birthday, March the 19th, 1947 to January the 11th, 1944 is that distance in time. From the solar eclipse to our former home we shared at 4150 Nell Street, Greensboro, is a distance of 7694 miles. That number in Hebrew is Queen, which she is. However, we'll show you in the Hebrew dictionary, 7694 Shigal, from 7693 a queen from cohabitation. Well, I lived with her for all those years. It's a very sad time, really. From lunation 0, which is the baseline of the Great Pyramid calculating time, to the floor of the King's Chamber is 7694 days, being December the 18th, 1922 to my rebirth date, January the 11th, 1944. This is 2106 years. Psalms 144:12. That our sons may be as plants grow up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished after the similitude of a palace. Well, the only polished palace it's referring to is the Great Pyramid, which was covered with 144,000 of the 12 tribes representing the end of time, 144,000 pure white alabaster stones. So here it is, 2106 in the sense of prominence, a cornerstone. There are 4 cornerstones of the Great Pyramid. These represent Eileen 1, then Pauline 2, then Michelle 3, and finally Janelle 4, which is my wife today, Asheron. So we've got 12.8 years divided by 234 is 19.9790. I won't go into that number now, but anyone with a concordance can look that number up. That is the difference in time between what you see here, 234 days and 12.8 years. So the photo here shows 9 levels of time. The reduction in widths have been suggested to show the age of the universe, 16.4 billion years, reducing with each layer to the 9th of 234, and that's why that number up the top there, 19.97. It's a bit, they've made it fit, if you like. This does not mean the universe is 16.4 billion years old. That is what the universe appears to be, but like a photo of the Great Pyramid you may have taken last week, the structure is 4,009 years old, regardless of the age of the photograph. So in the same way, the photo is 1 week. Therefore, the layers of the Mayans are like a photograph that university-trained scientists, they not allowed to consider creation because it's all controlled by the Rothschilds. Never conceived the universe was created to appear to be 16.4 billion years old, when in fact it was only 36,000 years old, and that's the age of the universe. I created it all in one go. All light was created in place, all stars created in place. I did not create the universe to lounge about waiting 16.4 billion years for man to wake up, did I? What man has accomplished is death and stupidity, and is incapable of comprehending the pyramids in Mexico were part of the creation process by angels who laid out the calendar with such precision to prove God. So it's all done by angels. Man staggers through the jungle to reveal the end dates, not the beginning. It is to prove the absolute mathematics of creation. From the solar eclipse location, north 25 by 116.26 to my home is as a baby, 105 Rothschild Avenue, Rosebery, is 7694 miles. Okay? There it is there. So we calculate days from the lunation 0, December the 18th, 1922, to my rebirth date, January the 11th, 1944, and we have time representing the Queen, i.e. mankind, which is that number I've just shown you, 7694. So here we have, when I was born, 50th layer of masonry, 7694 to the lunation 0, which was determined by astronomers in 1922. So the 9th layer of the step pyramid ends on October the 28th, 2011. We subtract 234 days and we arrive at my daughter Charmaine's birth date, March the 8th, 1971. I was 27.15 years old when she was reborn. This is to mean noble in rank, pure, referring to my daughter. The calendar predicts March 8th, 2010. Then on December the 10th, 2010, comet Elenin was discovered. 599 days between March 8th, 2010 and October the 28th, 2011. There it is again there. 599 in Greek means to die off. Who? What? All evil. The next day is the 29th. It is 600 days. And that day is restore again. So you're raised from the dead. Well, according to the soon-to-be published United Nations, on that date, the world population reaches 7 billion. Soon to be abolished, I should say. Human consciousness is driven by the collective soul, like birds turn together or schools of fish turn together at the same moment. With human beings, when reaching 7 billion, will awaken. One could say, I have roused you all from the dead, the wife of Yahweh, represented by the Queen Asherah. All human beings have lived before. Your soul is fully matured, and as the newborn baby grows, the soul attempts to guide it. For this is how the conscience works. But 7 billions is the swarm sacred number, and like bees, the collective soul listens and behaves as one soul and builds another hive. In other words, you all start communicating on the soul level together. So we've got the number 1682. From its systematic instincts, we add 1682 days to my rebirth date, January 11th, 1944, and we have August 19th, 1948, which is Asherah's rebirth date in 1956, just 8 years later. The bees are all female. The queen bee, on behalf of her children that swarm, and finds the father, Yahweh. If we subtract 333 days from October 28th, 2011, we have my rebirth date, January 11th, 2011. I was 67 on that date. Now, the comet Elenin. The NASA number for the comet is 11133. Why name it 11133? Call it lunations. Each is 29.53052 days times 1113.3 gives you 32876 days. Add to December the 18th, 1922, and we have December the 21st, 2012, the crossover at 11:11 a.m. Greenwich London time GMT. On Asherah's 55th rebirth date, August the 19th, 2011, everyone was getting a bit worried, so I took out the comet. What I did, I arranged for Jupiter to do it. So Jupiter blasted Elenin comet, destroying its tail, leaving the asteroid where its tail was concealing it. Nostradamus' prophecy of the hairs of the comet concealing the asteroid. 70 days after her 55th rebirth date is October the 28th, 2011. Jupiter is 88,800 miles wide. Jesus, once again, hydrogen gas. Matthew 1:23 has a Greek gematria of 8880. This is the prophecy of the virgin that would conceive and bring forth a child named Emmanuel, meaning God with us. So I was in Port Alberni, Canada on May the 4th, 1968, when I was 8880 days old, when my daughter Tracy Lee was reborn. The sunrise to sunset was 888 minutes. Jesus in Greek gematria. And you may recall I have said in the past that from sunrise to moonrise on my birth date for Sydney, Australia was 888 minutes. Jesus in Greek gematria. So just 70 days from her rebirth date until the 28th of October 2011. Asherah is 9.42 years younger than Michelle, her sister Mary Magdalene, and there are 942 verses with the name Jesus in the 1611 KJV. With more moves than a trapped snake, the data on the comet varies week after week. No information on the Jupiter magnetic discharge. Each target impact November the 8th, Earth target impact November the 8th, 2011. This date was my first wife's birth date, Lucifer in the flesh. But don't worry, I will take it out, no problem. Yahweh.